Our producers, they were like, listen, we need you to lead this song.
Right.
So, relative to it coming to fruition, it wasn't even a brand new song when we got it. I understood Lathan. Lathan is the type of cat, he's so humble. He's confident, but he's humble. And he's like, oh, that old thing. And it'd be a big old hit. And
Right, right.
so he, so Lathan, the way it was born, it was brought to us. We listened to it, we liked it, and we just jumped right on in. We jumped
Nice.
right on in. Relative to the production of it, things moved so fast, Sean. We recorded the song. The song, of course, was added to a compilation, and
Hmm.
then it just started moving, moving, moving.
Let's get back to the Just Roll. That's one of
Hmm.
your major hits for the duo group that you got. First, let me ask you,
Absolutely.
what do you think about the remix that BWF Brothers with Flavor did on FABU? Have you heard it, and what do you think about it?
I've heard it, and I love it. I love it. When I hear it today, Sean, sometimes like my nephews will play the song and they're like, oh man, TT, this was you. Oh, or either someone else will play it or I walk into just say a party and the DJ recognized me. They'll play it. They play from the BWF um version to the regular version, the diamonds in the rough version. People just really, really still love that song, every piece and part and collaboration of it.
How
Mhm.
was it when you first heard Just Roll on the radio? What happened? How was that moment?
That's a great question, Sean. It was euphoric, explosive, unbelievable. These two little girls from the hood are like, oh my God, that's us. So it's just like when I've watched the New Edition and the TLC shows and when those biopics and watching the excitement that they exuded just mirrored what we exuded. I mean, Chris and I were in two different places. She was from Southwest Detroit and I was just from the west side of Detroit. And we were like just screaming on the phone, running, opening up our windows, screaming. Everybody in the neighborhood was like, oh, they on the radio, blah, blah, blah. So it was just like you would imagine it to be, pure excitement and adrenaline. And it was wonderful. I'll never forget, my mom said my mother was a really cool, laid back girl. So when she heard it, she said, tomorrow I want y'all to go to Sam's Club and get me some Bose speakers so I can hear my baby good. So it was a great, great moment. It was so wonderful.
So speaking of New Edition and BBD, I did see that show they had on TV, and they kind of went through a lot of trials and tribulations. If I
Yeah, they
can
did.
ask, how was it for the two of you going through the process? Did you have some bad times during Just Roll?
We had some very challenging times. They weren't really bad. I can't say we had bad times, but being young adults, I mean, everybody from the producers to the execs to the artists themselves, we're all under 20, we're like 25 and under. And so no one had reached their full level of maturity, wisdom. So of course you're going to run into some things, and there're going to be some snags and snares here or there. But it was nothing that tore us apart, her and I. It was nothing like that. We parted with great love, admiration, and adoration for one another. So yeah, there were challenges, but nothing like knockdown, drag out fights between us. Most of the challenging times started with the record company and then trickled on down to the camp.
Do you feel the record company did you all justice as far as taking care of your contract or your management, your tour, or do you think that they could have did a better job taking care of you ladies?
I think that the politics of the music business is always imminent, always. And I believe that we fell within the confines of that. I
Hmm.
do. I feel like when I think back, I feel like there could have been some things that they could have been more flexible or compromising with us. I really do feel like that, but we were new. We didn't have what you call muscle behind us. So we were competing with big people and big names, and it's like, who are these people? Who are these
Right.
girls? Who are these cats? So I think that played a significant part relative to how we were treated and respected or not respected. It's they don't want you to, I'm quite sure it might be the same today, go too much against the grain of what they see for you. If
Right.
you have an opinion, that's almost taboo. you know
Right. Right.
Respectfully, we all have opinions, and one of the main things we always wanted to do is be able to represent our city, and so we fought for that.
Speaking of that, I think that's a good point. If I understand correctly, when you guys shot the video for Just
Hmm.
Roll, there was I don't want to say disagreement, but I think the label wanted you guys to shoot it in New York, but instead you guys wanted to keep it in Detroit because you wanted to represent Detroit, correct?
Absolutely. Well, we asked, and they gave us an ultimatum. Okay, they had X amount of dollars here if you do it, availed to you if you do it in New York like we want you to do it, or you do it where you want to do it, and we're going to take these thousands away from the video budget. We still
Hmm.
opted to do it in Detroit.
Hmm.
So we
Hmm.
did it. We did it in a little town called Pontiac that's not far from Detroit. So we're all still one big melting pot. But yeah, it cost us, but it was okay.
So, what was the name of the location? Was that a specific club that you shot the
Yeah,
video at?
yeah, it was called Legends.
Legends. Okay, is it still
Mhm.
open or it's just
I
historic
don't
now?
I don't know if Legends in Pontiac is open. I know the Legends in Detroit is closed. It's called something else now. But we had a major performance at the Legends in Detroit as well. But the video was shot at Legends in Pontiac.
Oh wow. Okay, okay. If you could give some advice to new artists, coming out, how important is it to understand your contracts, your publishing, your royalties, things like that?
It's very important because if I'm being totally transparent, um, Chris and I did not put a lot of effort and attention into contracts and publishing and all that. We just wanted to sing.
Hmm.
That's all we
Hmm.
wanted to do. We were like, we'll sing for free, but of course you can't sing for free. But I'm just saying the love for the business is, let me rephrase that, not the love for the business, but your business savvy and your business acumen has to be on point. You have to you have to dot those I's and cross those T's. If you do not know or if you do not understand, seek the education on your contracts. You
Hmm.
have to do that. You got to do that because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And if you have people that are not honest around you, you're going to be taken advantage of. So, do that. you know Put that first even before your performance, because performing is only 20% of what makes up the music business. you know the rest, that 80%, is all business.
Now,
Mhm.
speaking of having some good times, I think you guys actually had a tour and you performed on the same stage as Usher. Is that correct?
Absolutely, we did. And sometimes I wonder if he remembers. I'm like, everybody remembers their first everything. You should anyway. It was Usher's first time in London, and it was our first time in London. And we were the only two artists on the bill. We opened for him. Our dressing room was like two doors down from his. And one, if I can add something that's for the archives, one of my most memorable moments on that show was hearing Usher in the background, or as I say, in the background, saying, "Mom, Mom, please, please, Mom, please, can I please?" And we were like, "What is he begging for? What is it? What's wrong with him?" "No, Usher, no, no, you cannot take your shirt off." I said, "No wonder he stays naked now. He was told no too much." So, it was cool. He was cool. We took pictures. Myself, Chris, our management, his mom, management. He was a cool young lad at the time.
Now you guys charted on the billboards too, correct?
We did.
That is awesome. How was the feeling to find out you guys climbed the charts with such a iconic song? Like, what did that feel like?
Another euphoric moment. Unbelievable. Unbelievable but believable, because Sean, the way we were raised, it's if you put your mind to it and you work hard, you can do anything you want to do. Anything. And I'll never ever forget, I was a hairstylist before a singer. I mean,
Mhm.
because that's what I loved. So after high school, I went straight to beauty school, trade school, came out, assisted for a couple years, and then I was premier stylist in the city. So I was doing all right. If I hadn't made it in the music business, I had a career to go back to, thank God. Which is what I never really quit. I would tour and then come back, but I'm bringing that up because I tried to keep my extracurricular career separate from my 9 to 5 career, because people don't always believe in your dreams. They don't want to hear, "Oh, I'm in the studio, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." Some people are like, "Oh, really? Okay." Because as we all know, the thing that happened to FABU, Chris and Janine, does not happen every day. So
Mhm.
we were blessed, and we were aware of the blessing. So I never talked about it. I talked about it a little bit with my clients, but not a lot, because I didn't want to blur the line. So when my song premiered on the radio and I shared it with some of my clients, they play you like some people, "Or how's your little recording going?" And it gave me great pleasure to say, "Oh, my little song is doing very well. You've probably heard it on the radio." "Oh, well, really? What is it? What's the name of it?" And then when I told them, one of my clients literally burst into tears and said, "Oh my God, that's you?" I just, she couldn't believe it. So from that point, if I'd said, "I want to be an astronaut," they would believe me, because they saw something phenomenal happening to a little old girl from Detroit, two little girls from Detroit. So it was a great feeling, to answer your
Mhm.
question. It was
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
We never got haughty or blown up. We stayed humble. We prayed all the time. Very aware of the blessing. We were aware that this was not an everyday situation.
The song "Just Roll" was so big in St. Louis, you can almost not go anywhere without hearing it on the radio. And every time you went to the club, they had to play it about 2 or 3 times a night.
Wow, wow, wow. Mm, mm, mm,
Well,
mm,
when you're
mm.
in one location like in Detroit, you don't realize the impact that happens in other cities.
Hmm.
We got 50 states, so just imagine, in territories, just imagine that song was probably national and international, I should say, because you guys traveled overseas, right?
We did. Sometimes, Sean, you don't really realize the impact that you've had until you hear somebody talking about it that you don't even know. It's still astounding today. Very much so astounding. I mean, I didn't realize that the song, and I hate to even say, 30 years ago. 30. I mean, it's a blessing, but it's almost like I'm clutching my pearls, like, that was 30 years ago. Oh my God, 30 years. And what made me realize it was 30 years is because I had been seeing the video and pictures just pop up all over social media. Now, Believe it or not, I have not been an avid social media person. I pop on, pop off, and that's it. Here lately, I've been more active, but I'd seen so much, and people were sending me, texts and inboxing me and this and that. Did you see what's going on? And I'm like, on Instagram, there is 90s mood or 90s something. They reached out and they were like, you guys are iconic. We love you. We
That's
love
right.
you. And they have a very large market and audience. I always say, if we had the platform back then that we have today, we would be in the stratosphere, a lot of us.
There's a lot of our artists returning to the scene now. I mean, Kwame just released a new album. Method Man, he's got a new album out. I mean, you could just go down the line and just name. Nas has put out a new album. Music has changed, over the last 30 years. Right
Mhm.
now, there's no top hip hop songs in the top 40 on Billboard charts right now.
Wow.
And that's the first
Wow.
time this has happened, I guess, and probably
Mm.
to not have R&B or hip hop song reach the top 40. What do you think about today's music? I mean, do you like some of the new era?
I think that we could have a wider variety. I don't want to water down what the younger generation is doing now because there are a lot of people that love it. Some stuff, Sean, I don't understand what they're saying. I'm like, oh, that's a sweet beat, but what is he or she saying? But I'm quite sure when we were their age, our parents, I know my parents were like, what is that? That ain't music, blah, 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 blah. I know that. So I'm not quite as harsh as my mom was, back in, comparative to our time. But I do definitely believe that there's something lost and missing relative to our age group. We expand and we give room for the new age of music, but I think that some things should never die. Good
Right.
R&B should never die. Songs with girth and with meaning and with substance, I'll say, should never
Hmm.
die. A lot of the music I don't like, you know, but people love it. So who am I? If I'm being completely transparent. But I'm happy to hear about Method Man. I'm happy to hear about all the other people that you've just forementioned that are doing something new. And
Right.
then merging the new school with the old school has always been a good thing to do. Because
Absolutely.
they have something to say. This is their era. This is how they live, how they move. But we moved a little bit differently. I would like to say a little more gracefully. For the male and the females. I think there's room for growth. I think there's room for re-emergence. I'll
Right.
say.
I like
Mhm.
that. Have you interacted with some of the other female artists and groups, such as SWV? How was the interaction with some of those other groups?
Well, I've not interacted as of late with a lot of other groups. Two people that I've interacted with, Kima from Total
Okay.
and my girl from Brownstone. And it was nice. We were all of us were interviewed on a podcast together, along with a couple other people, and we connected. We were able to identify with where each of us were in our lives and in our journey right about now. So, not many people, some of the people that I interact with regularly is like Shirley Jones from the Jones Girls. She's a mentor and like a big sister. Of course, Lathan. Lathan is like my brother. So I'm
Hmm.
always kicking it with Lathan and some gospel artists, J Moss, Paul Allen. I am more in contact with them than I have been anybody in the industry in years.
I know I probably drove you crazy.
I know I probably drove you crazy saying, okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, 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 I'm going to slow down. I know that's how my life is on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I would love to have a little more organization. I'm working on it. But at least I'm not around here just doing nothing and willy nilly. My life is very, very full and meaningful and impactful in so many ways.
Life
Hmm.
after music, you're very happy. You're very blessed.
I am.
Um, and you're an entrepreneur as well, right?
I am. Salon Covaz is the name of our salon. My sister and I partner in business. The salon is named in honor of my dad. My dad's name was Vasco. So we took the letters and flipped them around, and that's how we came up with Covaz.
Nice.
And right now we've merged with another business, but we're still a business within a business. Wherever I am, I will be a business. So, we're still very much so making the women beautiful and feel confident and vibrant and alive. And that is my first love. Well, both singing and styling hair are my first loves. The thing is how many people, Sean, can say that they found their niche, they've been able to operate in the gift, make money, and be happy. Be happy. That peace and happiness is incomparable to
That's right.
anything. I don't care how rich you are. If you're not rich in your spirit and in your life, you can be a billionaire and so unhappy.
That's right. That's right. You guys have wonderful voices. You guys did so much to the hip hop and R&B culture. We really appreciate that. If nobody has given your flowers yet, I want to be one of the first and not the last to say thank you so much for what you've done so far. Now,
Absolutely.
I think you're working on a new song, right? Is that correct?
There's a song that I've recorded to write this song. So I wrote it, I've re-recorded it. So I'm working on releasing that, and then I'm also working on some other things that are not in its full regalia yet. But
Hmm.
I'm working on it.